A long time ago, on a comics page far, far away. Greetings and welcome to May the Panel Be With You, the Star Wars comic book show brought to you by the Punch Up Entertainment Network. I'm your humble host, Mike Gargoni, and joining me, as always, the Primor to my Monet, it's John Campbell.
Hey, everybody. Oh, well, folks, it's time to get wet and wild this week.
Whoa, John. We're wet. I don't know if we're wild. This is part one of a two-part story.
Yeah,
let's save the wild for next week.
Yeah, this is a reserved fish culture, all right? Yeah, man, it's a classic Star Wars aquatic adventure.
When was the last time we did a Star Wars Aqua World? I feel like it was that one where all those weird scientists were riding dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, obviously,
World?
That was Doom World.
Doom World, that's it, yeah. We had the pirates.
Yes, this was all the same story. There was like the big pirate ship.
Right. Yeah, that is the same thing. Yeah, right. And they were there was the pirates that were battling the scientists that were riding dinosaurs.
Yes, comic books.
Yeah,
and also it was a Star Wars book. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess yeah, and I suppose it's Star Wars. This is I will say this is closer to the vibe of Star Wars.
This feels like a Star Wars story. We're on a planet. They're torn between rebellion and empire, and there's like political stuff going on in the star system around them. And Leia and Luke are worried about their friends, and Chewie and Lando are off doing espionage stuff. This feels Star Warsy.
I do think there is an interesting thing here that we're looking at as we're approaching the end of the Star Wars trilogy. That it's something we talk about a lot on the show. Is I think you're right in that the idea of what a Star Wars story is starting to solidify at least a little bit.
Yeah, I fully believe that because we're firmly in the Joe Duffy era of this book, and I think she's got a pretty good handle on like the character voices and like what is a Star Wars.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, these are ancillary. You know, these don't feel like the movies per se, but they aren't as incongruous as stuff we were getting before. You're like, okay, yeah, that's the basic shape of a Star War.
Yeah. I should say we are covering issue number 74 of the original Marvel Star Wars comic. This issue was released in August of 1983. As mentioned previously, we've got Joe Duffy on writing, we've got Ron Frenz on pencils, Tom Palmer on inks, Glennis Oliver, formerly Ween, on colors, Joe Rosen on letters, and we've got a certain shooter in the distance as our editor-in-chief and eventually a who's listed as the editor on this one? Is it still
it's Louise Jones.
It's still Louise Jones who will eventually Simonson.
Yeah.
Don't know why I was blank on the editors. The editors obviously like they serve an important role in Marvel comics, but they're always sort of like taking backseat to the writers and artists.
And, of course, they take a backseat to that editor-in-chief because Jim Shooter wants you to know who's really running the show.
Rest in peace, Jim Shooter, of course.
R.I.P. to that gigantic weirdo. He was a huge dude.
Obviously, he has his issues, but now he is wrangling that big bullpen in the sky. / hell, depending on your opinion of Jim Shooter.
You think he and Stan Lee are mixing it up in the afterlife? You ruined the company.
Better question is, did they both end up in the same place in terms of like good place, bad place? Who knows?
Well, one of them, yeah. Well, that's an interesting thing there. Yeah, I know Jack Kirby's opinion. They can both burn.
Look, the one thing we do know is that somewhere up in Valhalla, Jack Kirby is punching fascists, as we all know he will.
Oh God, yeah. Love that guy, man.
But let's get to the cover of this issue because we mentioned some fish people, and boy, are there some troubled fish people on the cover of this book.
This cover is wild, I will say. I love when you this I was excited to read this week's issue when I looked at this cover because yes, we have what looks like an Irwin Allen disaster movie poster.
We've got Luke and Leia in scuba gear. Luke with a harpoon gun.
It looks like a Star Wars blaster that they've just jammed a harpoon in the barrel of, which I love.
They are fleeing from an explosion of water. Meanwhile, they're surrounded by yellow-skinned fish people who are choking on the air and running away as well. Meanwhile, the ghostly image of Darth Vader sits at the prominent crest of the exploding water coming towards them.
A ghostly Darth Vader helmet has crashed into this ocean and created a tsunami wave. Like,
imagine the river scene in Fellowship of the Ring where the river is like built up into the clopping horses by the power of the elves, except it's Darth Vader's helmet.
Oh, wild. And I will say, I mean, this is not inaccurate, but it is a thing where it's like, oh, the idea of Vader as the face of fascism is what is doing in,
Yeah, that's like the Darth Vader helmet here is a metaphor for the Empire, and like I accept that. He's not physically in this issue, but his presence is felt.
Well, like I said, even though he's not the Emperor, he is the face of the Empire, right? He is the boogeyman of Star Wars.
He is the outward threat of a fascist totalitarian regime.
Mm-hmm. I hear he's got a new job in Washington, D.C. right now.
He's the new labor secretary.
No, these numbers are no good. Someone has been cooking the books. All right. My political run is over.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, let's talk about fascists and start talking about fascists. Let's get into this book.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about space fascists. Yeah.
Yeah, as we are entering the Escalon effect.
Yeah, I got to say, I mean, yeah, we're on an ocean world of which there are a few in Star Wars.
Yeah, we like a good ocean world. Look, if we know one thing about Star Wars, it's that their planets have a single biome, and don't worry about it.
Yeah, that is really the case. You're either an ocean world, a desert world. I mean, Coruscant is a city world.
We got the occasional mountain world. I believe we got a couple of like weird cliff worlds.
Yeah, I mean, it is a funny thing, right? This is true in Star Wars, in Star Trek, and most like science fiction things. The idea that like wherever you go, planets are big, but they're very small actually in any stories involving them.
Well, because our characters are only landing in one location usually.
Right. And we're basically just as an audience supposed to be like, that's kind of the vibe of the whole place though.
Yeah, exactly. And Star Wars is no different. But
yeah,
we got Luke and Leia and Chewie and the droids hanging out on this platform overlooking this big ocean, and Luke going, "Wow!"
Because water.
Because water. I mean, we get the next page is basically Luke kind of waxing poetic about like, well, like on Tatooine, it was a desert, and I'm still getting used to like being out and about. We get a little bit of recapping on the fact that they're out here looking or getting sidetracked while looking for Han Solo.
Yes. Once again, the constant like just that we have to like, well, we're getting to Han. It's one step forward, two steps back always with these people, right? It's just like, oh yeah, now we're on our way to Han Solo. What's that? A distress call over here? Wow, we're the nearest ship. We got to respond.
What we'll eventually find out is that this is a planet called Iskalon, hence the title. They have a couple of other habitable worlds in this star system. One is mentioned right away in this second page. It's Gamondar. I love a good Gamondar.
Gamondar, Iskalon, these are very Star Wars-y planet names.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, here's a question, as always, to you, Gorgoni, about the canon. Do these planets ever get mentioned in anything ever again? And the answer will be probably, at best, an entry in a role-playing game guidebook, right?
Yeah, look, if they didn't start there.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like 9 times out of 10 we're like, no, it never comes up in a movie, book, or comic, but it is mentioned in the glossary of this RPG book.
I will say, Gamondar specifically is pretty much exclusive to this comic. We've got the next few issues are a bit of an arc amongst these worlds of Iskalon, Gamondar, and there's a third one we'll get to as we read the issues. But for the most part, they are contained to this comic and this comic alone. I will say, Iskalon has been mentioned in more things, and strap in, because Iskalon is going to be mentioned quite a few times as this comic book series goes forward.
Okay.
Let's see. Iskalon was also mentioned in the Namco 1987 video game. Which one was this one?
Really?
This was the one that was released for the Famicom.
Oh, I don't know this one offhand.
No.
We grew up with the Super Star Wars is my,
Sure.
Yeah, that's my oh, here we go. 1987. Oh, okay. I mean, it's pretty much what I would expect looking at pictures of it.
Yeah,
it looks like a side-scrolling. Luke comes upon a scorpion creature and knocks it around with a lightsaber.
Sure, yeah. And he's fighting animals. It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up. And it is only loosely based on the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say how much. I mean, back then when you talk about it, comes up in the game. Yeah, it's mentioned in the game, but how much was getting worked into those games in general.
Sure. So if anything, fleshing out this planet is building on that game. Well, no, this game came out in 87, so...
Yeah, it's still a few years away. They were like, hey, wasn't there a ocean world or something mentioned in a comic? Yeah, throw that in there.
So when they throw in the ocean level, they can just call it Iskalon.
Yeah, and then they're like, see, canon.
Yeah,
because this was still, once again, an era where, like, there were a few people following canon, but most people were just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. Anyway, yeah, it's a lot of Luke going, man, it's crazy to see oceans because I come from a desert world, and then Leia's like, you know what? You know where we had oceans? Alderaan.
You know what? I know this is melodramatic, but I like seeing Leia upset at the fact that her homeworld was blown up.
It is addressing something that people bring up, which is, at least if you're just watching the movies, it seems like she gets over it pretty quick.
Yeah.
The complete destruction of everyone and everything she knows.
Yeah, and here she has this line of, my homeworld, my family, my friends, Han, the Empire has cost me everything.
Yeah.
And that would mess you up.
It is, yes. This, I would say, in general, is my thing about the Joe Duffy era of this, is like, it's still this era of comics, so there is sort of a eye rolling to a lot of the execution of this stuff. But she is at least trying to actually seed Star Wars in a way where, this is additive, right? This is okay. They didn't do this in the movie. Let me have it be about, Leia having an emotional turmoil from the destruction of Alderaan, and having at least an acknowledgement that Luke was not so long ago a farm boy on a desert planet. Okay, once again, we're trying. This is somebody who's trying, and I appreciate that.
And we can contain our brief asides of 3PO complaining about things to a single panel. We love a single panel.
It is a little bit like, what are they upset about? Don't they know how bad it is for droids? Why, we could fall in the water and sink. Sure, it's always got to be about you, 3PO.
So we got some more of Han or Leia and Luke kind of recapping what they're doing here. Remember previously, I know we had that huge giant size 100th episode where we covered a lot of ground, but previously on Star Wars, they were on that planet with the weird, adorable cat people that turned into weird, gigantic cat people. And they were there because some rebel pilots crash landed there. And they were looking for an information tape that was lost there. They got that. That led them here.
I had to remind myself of that. And I guess thank you to the comic for being that, where I was like, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
So, that's what brought us here. And now, Chewbacca is getting splish-splashed in the pool.
He gets splooshed.
He gets splooshed. And, God, can you imagine what a wet Wookiee smells like?
Oh, awful. just vile. I mean, and this, of course, is a greeting from the. Do they have a name beyond that? They're the people of Iskalon. What's their
They're
name?
the Iskalonians.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. And they're just like, "Hey man, it must be so hot up there above the water. Here's a little water for you. A sploosh, a splash."
I always love alien misunderstandings about like how people feel about specific, like this happens all the time in Star Trek. We don't get it a lot in Star Wars about an alien being like, well, why wouldn't you want to be in the state that I am in, which in this case is wet.
Yeah, it's I read, God, I wish I could remember who wrote it. Somebody wrote a short story that was John Carpenter's The Thing, but from the perspective of the Thing. And the whole attitude was like, why wouldn't you want to be the Thing? It's great.
Yeah. Come and be absorbed by my biomass.
It's pretty rad. But yeah, but I do like, now, okay, here I think is a misreading of Chewie sometimes from the movies. I will say, this is my criticism of this, is Chewie is certainly, it could be a cranky and at times violent, but he's really out of control here.
Well, we get this bottom right panel with a roar.
Yeah, and he's like, that thing splashed me in the face. It must die now.
And so we got Leia and Luke holding Chewie back from diving in after this guy.
Oh my God, I'm gonna kill him. Oh my God, I'm gonna kill him. And they're holding him back, and he's like, cursing into the sky. And I just think, like, well, at this point, a portrayal of Chewbacca like this kind of makes him a detriment to the Rebel Alliance, where at a moment's notice, he's going to start murdering.
Well, look, he's a detriment right up until you have a room full of stormtroopers go, I'm not getting paid to fight a Wookiee.
I mean, that's true. He is definitely the threat. But there's always sort of the thing. I always talk about, people remember the Wookiees will rip your arms off if they lose. But people forget that then he does the like hands behind his back, like like he knows, he plays up that reputation more than he actually is a loose cannon, I think.
Right, but there is also that scene in Solo where he was probably gonna kill and eat Han before Han talked him down.
Well, but he's in a very specific place there, right?
Sure, I'm just saying Chewbacca is one. I think of Chewbacca a lot like I think of Conan the Barbarian, where it's like he's a creature of large emotions and he lets himself ride those emotions sometimes.
This is true. And I mean, the no prize here, of course, is that everything can be, all irrational action can be explained away by he's still upset about Han Solo.
That's absolutely fair.
Yeah. And anyway, this guy's just like, hey, man, what's his deal? Everybody knows it's cool to be wet on a hot day. Bye.
We'll get introduced to this guy later on. This is Mon, M-O-N-E is how they say his name.
I said Monet because Mon just sounded weird.
Yeah, that's fair. But he is one of the local Iskalonians. He is a fish person. They've basically got people bodies, except for they've got webbed hands and toes. They've got pointed ears, weird, like fishy, full eyes, and weird little, like, gill-looking mustaches.
They're fish people. Like, whatever that conjures in your mind is probably accurate, right? Like, we've seen many a fish person, at least I have, over on my other podcast. We do cover Gillman movies over on Meet the Monsters. So
this guy isn't full Gillman, but he's definitely vectoring towards Gillman.
He's entering that territory, though. I mean, let's just say this guy and the creature from Shape of Water would get along just fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so we need this is the recap from 3PO.
Yeah, 3PO gives us the recap between him and R2 being like, oh, don't you remember why we're here, R2? Well, might as well tell you so the readers know.
Yeah. Oh, you do? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway.
Right, because they're looking for 2 rebel pilots, one of whom crash landed on Lashbane, that planet we were at last time. Yes. And then the other one, Tay Vanis, is the guy we're looking for here, because the other one's name was Yom Argo. Him, we've confirmed, is dead.
Yeah, by the way, 2 grade A Star Warsy names.
Oh, just absolutely peak glup shitto.
Total nonsense. Yeah, I love it.
But Tay Vanis is the one who was last seen here on this planet, Iskalon.
Can I say, I like that this took long enough, this explanation, that they met up with Lando while 3PO was talking.
Well, Lando, so they're on this big like platform in the middle of the ocean. We don't quite know what it is other than the fact that the Falcon has landed here. So I don't think Lando's like, they haven't like moved to meet Lando. Lando just comes outside of the building they're right next to.
I guess that's it. It's just
because if we go back a couple of pages, we get an above view of the platform, and there's like some landing pads, and then there's a building at the center of it, and this whole place is just surrounded by ocean.
I think that's what threw me, was all of a sudden the background's different, but I think it's just they've walked, or like we've just changed perspective more than.
Yeah, the camera has shifted, so we now see behind them, rather than a horizon of ocean, it's the building they're standing next to.
I want to talk about Lando's jacket.
It rules.
It's kind of awesome. Yeah, it's pretty rad.
It's kind of a Punisher thing going on.
Yeah, because it does. Yeah, that's why I can't figure. It seems like they're raised, so it's like he's got the little pouches that like would be the Punisher's ammo belts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Lando's just carrying bullets around for reasons.
Lando in full black leather kind of rules.
Kind of awesome, yeah. We're used to him wearing like garish colors. I do sort of like that this is like tactical Lando.
But tactical Lando still looks good.
Oh, well, yeah. It's still cool as hell. And so he goes, "Hey, man, I made friends with one of these fish people. There he is now."
Yeah, we find out here that Lando's visited this planet before, and he's got his finger on the pulse of the local leadership, because of course he does.
Where hasn't this guy been? It does feel like the Lando presented in this comic in particular. I got friends everywhere, and that's not just code for rebellion like in Andor. It's true in my case.
Well, look, the people Lando Calrissian has relationships with fall into two distinct categories. Either they love him, or he's cheated them somehow and they need to kill Lando.
He is known. Now, whether that's a good or a bad thing, he is known everywhere, though.
Yeah.
He's either like, "Hey, they know me there," or "Look out, they know me there."
Right. And there's no middle ground.
I mean, that one that was, a couple weeks ago, where it was just like he walked into a bar and they're like, "Lando Calrissian, you son of a bitch."
Whereas this planet's the opposite. It's like, Lando, we love Lando.
Yeah, the fish people. I party with fish people. What's it to you?
Well, it's because when Lando has to deal with card sharks on a fish people planet, he's dealing with literal card sharks. So he watches himself a little bit closer.
Right, yeah. So he goes, "Everybody, get in this elevator down to the underwater cities."
Yeah, so everyone loads in, and it turns out this platform is actually just like the top floor of an elevator that leads down into a city called Pavilion. Now, Pavilion is really just here as basically a tourist location for air breathers.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions that just don't matter, but how many visitors are they getting? What is this part of the economy of this planet? Whatever. Anyway, I don't know.
It looks like they're accommodating to people from off-world. They're friendly.
Yeah. It's very Jetsons-y, though. This huge glass tube that they're going down.
Well, the minute you're moving through glass tubes, you're either thinking about the Jetsons or Futurama, which Futurama obviously
is playing on the Jetsons.
Jetsons, yeah.
Yeah. And so, but of course 3PO is like, "Oh dear, it's a death trap."
Oh, for droids, yeah. Well, I guess for any of them, because their big concern here is just like, well, if any of these tubes break, we're just all dead down here.
I mean, that's not inaccurate.
Yeah. Luke specifically has the most earnest reaction here when he's thinking to himself, "We're surrounded by water on all sides. Only the tanks are holding it back. On Tatooine, moisture was so scarce. We had to farm just to stay alive. And now this?"
I do like that he is still just like, water. Crazy.
Yeah. Just water all around you, being submersed. We get into it later in this issue, but the experience of swimming for Luke Skywalker must be so novel.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, once again, it is watching the movies, and it's not even a fault of the movies, but things like Alderaan, or things like Luke suddenly just having to be like a citizen of the galaxy. are just necessary because you can't have Luke constantly going, "Wow!"
Well, and that's
But the
why
comic can.
there is a scene in The Force Awakens that I appreciate so much, and that's when Rey and Han land on that planet where they go see Maz Kanata, and Rey
Yeah.
gets out of the Falcon and is just like, holy crap, planets can look like this? Whoa.
Yeah, that's a good thing in that moment.
Yeah, totally. So as we're moving through the tubes down here, we see that there's other people here. So this place isn't like bereft of activity, but there's also all of these speakers along the tube so that people inside the bubbles can speak to the fish people outside.
It's just so wild to imagine you're like at an aquarium, but the things in the tanks are like, "What's up?"
Well, they bring up the comparison here. It's more like the people, the air breathers, are the ones in the aquarium because all the fish people are just free to go about and go wherever.
It's just weird to imagine you're talking to a guy who just like loop loop swimming along next to you as you're talking to him.
And that's exactly what happens here as we meet Primor, who is Lando's other friend here.
Who is the leader, but he's like, "Oh, no, don't call me leader of the group. I'm just a guy."
You make it sound like I'm some kind of monarch.
Everyone just does my bidding. I mean, let's not get crazy.
Well,
Because I do like where he's like, "I'm not a monarch," and Lando's like, "But everybody does everything you say and the rules you set."
Well, the way he explains it, I really like this. This is some good sci-fi world building here when he says, the school follows its own will, but someone must be the first to swim. My people follow me because I never try to take them against the drift of their own inclinations. So, like, this whole society has this, like, schooling instinct, like fish or like flying birds. And so, like, yeah, there's gonna be a fish in the lead, and they follow him sort of, but there's this group instinct that kind of takes them in different directions.
He's the first through the door guy, and everybody's just like, "That guy seems to have the right idea."
Yeah, exactly. We find out that Primor is, in fact, Monet's father.
Yeah.
And he is an orange fishman as opposed to a green fishman.
And he's like elderly, right? He's got like some white hair and...
One of my favorite things in Star Wars specifically, this is very much a Star Wars thing. You've seen it in other sci-fi things as well, but like Star Wars does this a lot with characters with like sexual dimorphism in aliens. The male aliens, to like denote old age, if they have like face spikes or face tentacles, those like turn into a weird beard.
Yes.
And like it's totally absurd and weird sci-fi stuff, but I love seeing it.
Well, but it's such good shorthand, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it is, and it's also very, we understand it.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite one is definitely Hondo Ohnaka, his like chin spikes over the course of the Clone Wars and then into Rebels. He's got like the elder statesman, scruffy looking pirate look.
Look, someday on the show we'll get to Hondo, and I think we both have a real affinity for that character.
Oh, he's the best.
He's so good.
So we have Leia being like, hey, should we be talking about this out loud? Because we're talking about trying to find rebel people here on this planet that is ostensibly neutral.
Right. And I like that this guy's just like, what would be the problem with that? They're like, well, that could be bad for us.
Yeah. And maybe we kind of get tipped off on how bad that could be when random helicopter pilot turns and starts following the group.
An extra from Airwolf has wandered into the scene.
Airwolf, for those who don't know, cop drama exclusively solving all of their problems with a helicopter.
Oh, yeah, it was basically a Knight Rider, but a helicopter instead of a car.
Yeah.
They had a super helicopter. Yeah. Every episode ends with, let's get in the helicopter.
Many of the bad guys also needed to be on helicopters.
Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of guys in helmets is my very old reference that I'm making here.
Yes.
And then they look out the window to find
a conga line of stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers. Everybody, conga.
They're in a straight line. It's so weird looking.
Yeah. They're I love the idea that the Empire is so committed to their whole vibe that they're like, no, you're going to march in a straight single file line underwater.
I mean, Primor even says, silly looking, aren't they? But the Empire has insisted on adapting their stormtroopers to every climate in this solar system.
But don't change anything about how they move around and stuff. It doesn't matter. You're underwater, you get in line and you march step to step. Like, I mean, the idea, this would be so hard to do.
Look, nobody is ever doing the stormtroopers any favors regardless of circumstance.
Yeah. And of course, yes, we've got underwater stormtroopers, which is pretty silly but pretty fun.
We love a good like climate specific stormtrooper. We got our snow troopers, we got our desert troopers, we got our shore troopers. These are the underwater ones.
These basically look like your standard stormtroopers, except they've got like an oxygen tank on their back and like rebreather masks.
Yeah, and it looks like they're wearing weird ankle things that let them like shift like fully. They're not vertical and like swimming like a diver. They are moving, standing horizontally, moving forward in the most or the least aerodynamic way possible.
Oh, we're back.
Lost me for a second.
Yep. Okay. The ankle things that allow them to shift.
Yeah, it makes it so that it looks like they're moving horizontally forward in a very, like, unaerodynamic way.
Yeah, no, it makes no sense.
And Luke's first instinct is to grab his gun, so Lando is like, hey,
pretty stupid of Luke, right?
Maybe don't shoot through the glass. That's the only thing keeping us alive, huh?
Yeah, it's there's a similar moment in Next Generation where Worf pulls his phaser on something on the view screen of the Enterprise. And you're like, oh God, why would you make him that stupid? Anyway.
But anyway, all the fish people are looking at these stormtroopers being like, oh, these guys, you should, hey, Primor, tell them about the Citadel, tell them about Gamondar, tell them about Telfray. This is bad.
Yes.
So he does.
He does. And, I mean, I will say this comic has a real, it falls into this formula a lot where it's like, oh, the story of our planet.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is, if you're going to have a story of the week where you go to a new planet and you need to get a recap, you got to have some old guy being like, let me tell you of our ways, Outworlder.
Here's the thing that happened to us. It's bad.
So, we learned that our two Rebel pilots were originally from this system, specifically the planet Telfray. What happened to Telfray? Everybody died.
Everybody died, exactly, yeah.
The long and the short of it is that, you know how the Empire is always committing them their genocides? Well, another one happened here.
I mean, I will say the shot here that's the TIE fighters blasting down the street and just this green alien guy real close to us who's like...
It looks like, who's that World War I artist who did that like 1,000-yard stare portrait? It's evocative of that. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the artist's name.
Yeah.
But did a lot of stuff for like Life magazine.
Yeah. Rockwell? No, it's not Rockwell.
I'm blanking on the name, but
Rockwell did a lot of the Life magazines, but I know who you're talking about too. Yeah.
But anyway, it's very evocative of that, and specifically, we get seen TIE fighters bombing the hell out of this place, and Primor even says it will be many generations before the surface of Telfray will be able to support life.
Yeah. So anyway, it's bad news, folks.
Yeah. Like, this is the Night of 1,000 Tears, like, scourging of Mandalore. This is like, the Empire doesn't always blow up planets, but they can kill a planet, but good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, they're like, the Death Star just made it easier. They were already basically up to this shit before this.
Sure. I mean, this is Gorman Massacre level stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the thing we're looking at here is basically then death rained down from the sky.
Yeah. Because this planet Telfray was like in open rebellion. Gamondar was completely subjected by the Imperials, and Iskalon has sort of like tried to stay as neutral as possible, but unfortunately what we learn on the next page is they sent some ambassadors to Gamondar, and then we get some absolute, like a very brief but brutal panel of all of these people in hoods lined up against a wall with a series of stormtroopers.
Yeah, I mean, just mass executions, you know.
Yeah. And Priamore says, when word reached us here of what had happened to Telfrey, we thought it might be prudent to send ambassadors to the fortress on Gavendar, to tell the Empire of our desire for peace. Our ambassadors sent back horror tales of mass executions, and that was the last we heard of them. Yikes.
I mean, good lord. Yeah, bad news.
We're not shying away from Empire equals fascist bad guys.
Which I appreciate, because of course that's I don't know, kind of the core of Star Wars, but or at least a big chunk of it. At least the titular wars in the stars that they're talking about are, you know, over that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So now those two boys, Yam Argo and Tay Vanis, went off to join the rebellion, but stuff is still not cool here, obviously. But when they came back, they did spread word about these heroes of the rebellion, a Leia and Luke and a Lando and a Chewbacca.
Yeah. And are you Chewbacca? This is, I will say, all of this is one of those things where this could only work in a comic. Because trying to imagine this in a film where you have a long conversation scene between people, it would be insane. This really works, though, for the comic.
Well, and I think in a movie or a miniseries or something, it would be a lot more show and not telling. We could viscerally depict the annihilation of a planet and the execution of people as the Imperials take over, and then, like, have a better sense. Yeah. Because what we learn is that these two rebels that we've been tracking this whole time, Leia's like, how could they possibly have known about us? We didn't know these guys. And we learn from Priamore, it's like, yeah, but these were just two background characters at Yavin. You guys were heroes there.
Right. Yeah, they do talk. I like this idea, like, we didn't know these people. It's like, but you were all together at Yavin.
And Leia's like, so Tay Vanis and Yam Argo were with us the day Luke destroyed the Death Star? They weren't really strangers after all. I mean, except for the fact that Leia didn't know their names until this week.
I mean, it is sort of a thing where it's like, yeah, they still are. There were a lot of people at Yavin. Yeah. All right, you know. Look, man, a lot of people running around there. I couldn't meet everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's... But anyway, it's like, this means something to Leia, and I'll accept that as her character thing about, like, oh, wow, we were all... I mean, other than... But, I mean... The argument just being like, well, then everyone in the rebellion is connected to everybody else in the rebellion, of course.
But especially from an outside perspective, like the Iskalonians, they're like, well, you're all the rebellion. You all know each other, right?
Yeah. Yeah, how many of you guys could there be? 20, 25? I don't know.
We get the sense that the Iskalonians are like a little bit naive about the workings of the outer world.
Very much so. I mean, they are fish people who swim around in the ocean and are like, water!
Can't hold that against them, but it definitely makes them a little bit more isolated from the goings-on of the galaxy at large.
For sure, yeah. I mean, when you're living your life just swimming around the ocean and splashing people, you know, intergalactic politics are not going to be, you know, you're not going to get into the intricacies of.
Right. But here we learn that apparently there is also another missing droid here, that one of these pilots had a droid named K3PX, and that if they can find that, maybe they can find... Because again, the whole thing is that these two pilots were supposed to be bringing some important information back to the rebellion.
Right. Do we know what that information is?
Nope.
At all? Yeah, it's just information. It's not... Okay. Like, we don't even know the basic idea. Like, is it plans for... Well, then I was just going to go, but a Death Star, but we know that's a different thing.
And that second Death Star, we know the Bothans are in charge of that.
That's true.
And then it's going to be Dash Rendar who steals those plans.
Lest we forget the most important character, Dash Rendar.
There's a whole level of the video game where he does that, John.
Oh, I'm aware. And you can go back and listen to us talk about it. Anyway, Yeah. So they're like, oh, well, we got to find this droid.
But unfortunately, it's on the fortress of that other planet, Gamondar, where the Empire is like really in control of things.
There's only a couple stormtroopers trying to march around underwater here. Gamondar is a shit show, though.
Yeah. So we start putting together a plan here. They're like, okay, so we gotta go find this droid that's back on Gamondar to try to figure out what these guys actually had.
I do like the idea that Luke's like, well, someone has to go to Gamondar.
And actually, Lando coming up with a pretty good plan here, saying, no, look, Leia, Luke, you would be recognized on the spot you head to this place.
Yeah.
So Chewie and I gotta go take care of this.
Two most wanted people in the entire galaxy. So maybe it should be me that goes.
And he ain't wrong. Meanwhile,
No, he's
our
not.
nosy helicopter pilot is just like, well, I think I've heard enough, and he slips away.
I've heard just enough incriminating stuff to give to the Empire. This is going to get me a promotion. And very out of character 3PO offering himself to go.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where this spot of bravery comes to, other than just like 3PO's putting his neck out for a fellow droid because they're looking for this K3.
It feels like it should be reversed, where like 3PO, where Lando should be like, 3PO, you have to come. He's like, I don't know, sir. And then Lando should be like, it's for the interest of the rebellion and the sake of your fellow droid. And then he should be like, I understand. Then it feels like you should just flip their dialogue. Right?
Yeah, or maybe like have R2 being really gung ho to go.
Yeah. What do you mean, R2, that we're volunteering? You know, that
Yeah.
would be It's just, one of the things we definitively know about him as a character is that he is a coward who never wants to do anything.
We also have another strange volunteer, and that is Monet, the son of the leader of the fish people, is like, hey, I also know Gamondar well. You don't, so I should go with you.
And I say, I just love the line of dialogue. This cannot be my foolish pleasure-seeking offspring who speaks.
Primor is just like, but you're just a gadabout and a cad. You wouldn't volunteer for something like this.
When do you have principles?
Father, this is not a question of games or politics. It's a matter of friendship.
Yeah.
Monet really
we
likes
all like
Lando.
Lando.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, agreed. I really like Lando too. He's a pretty righteous dude. But yeah, so Monet's coming.
So we cut back up to the surface. We got Lando and Chewie heading off. We've got Monet in a reverse wet suit. He's got a helmet with a bunch of water in it that lets him
I mean, that basically appears to be all it is.
And he's got his onesie and some gloves on.
Yeah. And he's saying goodbye to his wife, who I don't think we mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah, she was briefly introduced. It's Kendall.
Yeah, she couldn't matter at all to this story.
I mean, she'll matter vaguely at the end of the issue, but
I like that Leia's like, look at him, hugging in front of everybody. Like she's talking about, they have no worries about privacy. They're not doing anything that intimate.
yeah, but also she's just feeling it because she has no one to be intimate with.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
She's missing Han.
She is missing Han, but they do default a lot to, oh dear lonely Leia a lot. This is fine. It's just in how often they go to this well.
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, they take off, but we also get a quick snap of that helicopter pilot being like, goodbye, Iskalon, hello, promotion.
I forgot he does literally say, oh, they're going to bump me up to middle management for this. Oh, baby.
Meanwhile, in the death camps.
Yeah. And then the stormtroopers, not only persecuted these people, but just the shit talking too, where he's like, look at these feeble Gamondars.
Yeah, we cut to Gamondar, and there we have the Imperials are enslaving everybody, and we meet our head Imperial here. I don't think we ever get this guy's name, but he is just like he's got a bad case of bad guy face.
Oh, are we talking about the guy who's literally got a target for an eye?
He's got a pure red orb with a black target symbol in the center, like the crosshairs of a sniper rifle.
Do you remember the movie Last Action Hero?
Of course.
Charles Dance has this same thing.
Yes, absolutely he does.
Charles Dance's villain, who rules. By the way, that whole movie rules. That's a real hidden gem, I think, of a movie. But yeah, Charles Dance, literally, the whole thing in the movies, he keeps putting in different glass eyes, and one of them is a crosshairs.
Yeah. And this guy's got a goatee, a red crosshair eye. He is a Nazi. This is just so apex bad guy.
Yeah, it is just like, how many bad guy elements can we put on one character?
If he had a gun for an arm, I think that would be up there.
That would be the next move, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming. But I like that. Yeah, I don't think he has a name, and there's no explanation of his eye. He doesn't do anything with it in this issue, at least.
He's Captain Bad Guy. That's what we know right now.
He's Captain Bad Guy. Yeah.
And we literally just have him talking to himself. Yeah. It's pronounced Bagai, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Bagai, yeah. Don't worry, I'll give you plenty of time. No, we needn't be too concerned with lesser personnel.
Yeah. He does mention, like, Lord Vader will be quite pleased when I tell him.
Yes. I mean, it does just feel like everything he should just be sitting there being like, oh, oh yes. Like, there's the banal bad guys of the Empire who are just sort of like officers or management. And then there are guys like this who just like, God damn, I love my job.
Look, like any fascist like regime, there's going to be people who get off on the fact that they're part of a fascist regime.
Right. This guy's not a believer in the cause as much as he's just like, I love, giving people pain. I love enslaving planets. Oh, baby.
Meanwhile, let's cut back to some awkward sibling sexual tension.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Yikes. Oof, oof, oof.
This is in August of 83. We know Luke and Leia are brother and sister at this point.
Yeah, maybe not when it was written, but certainly by the time it's coming out, people are reading this and going, no.
So when Luke and Leia are embracing and Leia's got a hand on Luke's fantastic pectorals.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we should, as always, note that Luke is, of course, more jacked than Mark Hamill ever was, even at his, peak hunkitude.
Yeah. But they're feeling a little disconnected with the world because they're just, Luke and Leia are left here to do fuck all, I guess.
Yeah, it is really like Luke Skywalker just being like, I hope things go well for Lando. Anyway.
But it's okay, because Premor is here and is like, you two look sad. Come swimming.
I do like that he shows up to basically be like, excuse me as I stop this near incest from happening.
He's got a sense for these things.
Yeah. I sensed something horrific was about to go down, so I thought I'd get involved. Anyway, yeah, come on, get on in. The water's fine.
And so, yeah, they go swimming. We got Luke and Leia. They get their scuba tanks on, and they go moving around in the water.
Swim outfits that they were ready to get. I guess these were under their clothes, maybe, or something.
Or they just rented them from the tourist shop that was up on the platform. I don't know.
I love, a lot of tourists forget things. We should set up some kind of stand up there. That might pull in some money for us.
Look, that's the whole premise of this little weird underwater city is that this is just for the land breathers. So, of course, they're going to have, they have this. You got your kite sailing rental place. You've got your...
It's a resort. I love the idea of this is a resort planet.
Yeah. You've got the quick stop that, look, everyone's going to forget their sunscreen, so you got to get that.
Yeah. You have any idea how much we pull in a year just on sunscreen? Oh, baby. All right. So they're swimming around.
Primor introduces them to the underwater weaponry that is available.
Because, like, hey, man, like, this guy's like, come on in, the water's fine, but you should also know, yeah, there's some shit down here that should kill you, so take this gun.
Including stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
So,
not all predators on Iskalin wear stormtrooper armor, and not all of the inhabitants are friendly or intelligent, so, you might have to shoot a shark or something.
As Qui-Gon always said, there's always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger fish. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so he pews this rock to show them that, I do like this, like, check this out. It's a blaster that works underwater.
Yeah. And so they're swimming around, and then we cut back to Lando and the others, and we get this kind of, like, halfway decent, like, emotional dialogue between Lando and Monet being like, for a thrill seeker and a pleasure boy, you do like helping people out a lot. And he's just like, you know what? Maybe that's how I get off, is helping people out. Don't judge, Lando.
Maybe that's the real punk rock, as Superman would tell us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I do like that he's just like, the way it's written, where he's like, your father tells me that after Vanis lost his family in the Telefray Holocaust. Like, the idea of just being like, so anyway, that Holocaust that happened. I need to make conversation. Let's see. Atrocities. It just made me laugh.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. It is like, hey, man, like, you don't know me. We contain multitudes, sir.
Yeah, I just dug it. Like, we can have a character with a little bit of depth, even if he's here for a couple of issues.
No, I think that's all fine. I like Monet.
Yeah.
Anyway, here they come into... Well, actually, no.
No,
sorry,
we gotta cut back to Captain Bad Guy.
Yeah. And so he's just like, man, I can't wait. Today's the day. As he says, I've been looking forward to this day for a long time. Ever since that imbecilic, number one, great use of the word imbecilic. Mm-hmm. Ambassador explained his people's philosophy and warned about the Iskalon effect. I knew that the time would come when they'd give me a reason to set it off. He is just like, oh, God, this is going to be good.
The button he presses to fire what is presumably some kind of doomsday weapon doesn't say fire or launch. It says commit, as in commit genocide.
He had it rewired. It said fire before. He's like, no, make it say commit. I want to get some guys up here on this.
You gotta know that when you press this button, you are buying into a war crime.
Yeah, I tried to get it to say genocide now, ! But that was too many characters, so we went with commit. And I think we all know what that means, though.
Yikes. This guy's so evil.
I mean, this guy is just gloriously, unrepentantly evil. There is not an ounce of humanity left in this man.
Yeah, so they launch what looks like an ICBM from this planet.
I do like that you're like, what is this going to be, this doomsday weapon? You're like, oh, it's a big missile. Okay, yeah. All right. So this could just be a panel from a G.I. Joe comic.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And so, anyway, Luke and Leia still swimming around.
But then Luke senses a disturbance in the water.
Yeah, in the force of the water.
And they swim up to a window, and oh no, it's Monet's wife, Kendall. She's been maybe attacked? I don't know. Her helmet has been broken, and she's trapped inside, suffocating.
Yeah. Well, that's bad.
That is bad.
And so they're like, well, how do we get back in there? Because there's a whole, like, procedure to get in there, right?
And, like, we can't get to her in fast enough. And Luke's like, oh, want to bet?
I'll show you son of a bitch.
And he just goes swimming off, I guess, is his plan.
Yeah. I would like a cut back to Primorge being like, what is he going to do? He just said, you want to bet, and he swam away. I don't know what he's going to do. Anyway, back to Missile in Space, which is just very Flash Gordon-y, that is just a missile sailing through space.
So, John, what do we know about space?
Well, it's a vacuum.
Mm-hmm. What would Douglas Adams tell you about space?
Oh, what are you trying to get me to say?
That it is incredibly mind-bogglingly large.
Yes, that's you got it. Yeah, it is. It is. Vast doesn't even begin to cover it. It is infinite.
So what are the odds of even things moving in different directions towards the same location literally having to dodge one another?
Well, it's a constant thing, and I think we've brought this up before, that most of these space franchises, be it Star Wars or Star Trek, act like space is like the ocean, right?
Or the
Instead
top
of
of the
this
ocean,
idea
you mean?
I'm sorry, yes, the top, but it's like the idea that that like you're sailing on something, as opposed like ships never come from like above or below each other, or yeah, as you talk, this idea that everything is always coming right at each other, and you're just like, that's not how objects in space work.
And look, before you get at me, astrophysicists, yes, I know that there is like a galactic plane which gravity conforms to, at least to a certain extent, but that is on a macro level, not a missile is flying in one direction, the Millennium Falcon is flying in another direction, and the Millennium Falcon has to dip out of the way like there's only one lane on the freeway.
Yeah. Whoop.
Because that's what happens here.
Honk.
I see it, Chewie, I see it.
By the way, I like the Haronk is in Joker font.
Oh, yeah, it kind of is with the purple and the green.
Haronk. Yeah. And he's just like, oh shit. Yeah. It's not like an asteroid or something, and even still that would, but just the idea that this thing is flying and they have to like veer, like he has to make a sharp turn in the Falcon to go, yeah, oh no.
A turn so sharp that it sends R2 careening into 3PO.
One of the weirdest panels we've ever seen in this comic is R2 just atop 3PO, and he's like, oh, no, God.
Yeah, well,
oh dear.
That'll teach 3PO to buckle up from here on out.
There are seats on the Falcon. Why are they? I like that you droids can just rattle around back in storage.
But they don't know what that was. Spoiler alert, it's a big missile.
Yeah. Yeah. A doomsday weapon.
But meanwhile, back on the planet, Luke and Leia are moving quick to try to save the fishman's wife.
I still don't know what Luke is doing. Like
he's running.
Like the idea. What is he doing though? That's anything where it's like, yeah, man, you know, you think I can't? I mean, he's running slightly faster than Leia.
He's got that the force legs. He's moving real fast.
Oh God, remember the one scene in Phantom Menace where he has him use force speed and it looks goofy as hell?
Because speedsters always look weird. Anyway, they rush inside, and I guess it takes no time at all, because Luke gets to Kendall, and they are like, okay, I think we made it in time. We'll try to get her outside.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Missile. So this thing, yeah, once again, the idea of this is also jettisoned through the stars. I mean, this is a nearby planet, but still, it's come a long way through the atmosphere and then into the ocean.
At which point it explodes.
I mean, this is quite the missile.
But to the point where...
creates a underwater mushroom cloud.
Leia turns and goes, what was that flash? Luke says, an explosion, a big one, miles away.
Yeah.
And then the whole city they're in is vibrating. There's a huge wave on the surface. The platform they were on the surface is destroyed. There's a huge crash. And suddenly the windows all around them are exploded. And Leia and Luke are about to be drowned in the ocean.
And then I got to say, as they bring up here, next week, the story we could only call Tidal. As in wave.
As in the wave.
Yeah.
And yeah, this issue ends on a big cliffhanger.
I mean, yeah, it sure seems like what's this? Could it be the end of Luke and Leia?
Probably not, but
I mean, it won't be, because there's a movie in theaters right now about them that takes place after this. So I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, but what about that woman we just met? She might not be okay.
You don't know her. She could definitely die.
Yeah, and
that would be something we do.
And look, the Empire just nuked this planet. I'm sure there's lots of people who are dead right now.
God, I mean, the idea that like miles away, you're like that was miles away, and it's destroying every,
Yeah. And God knows what this bomb did to like irradiate the water of this planet.
Oh yeah, I mean this thing. I mean the way the guy, it's because especially the way that we had Colonel Bad Guy talking about it really made it sound like this is bad news for all involved.
This was some kind of Imperial final solution that he's just now committing.
Yeah, he's committed it. Sir, the missile is committed.
I know, that's why the button says that.
Yeah. So there you have it. We'll have to find out. Oh, we'll leave you in a cliffhanger until next week.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I have read ahead a little bit. Will our heroes make it out of this one? Yeah, probably. But
yeah, I haven't. But I have a good feeling about this.
If you want a story where the Empire does some messed up crap, well, this is the one for you.
Oh, is it ever? Anyway, that's this issue.
That's this issue.
Absolutely, and of course, if you want more from us, and why wouldn't you? Where we maybe talk about things that aren't space genocide.
You keep asking that question, John. What if somebody answers us one of these days about like lists the reasons why they wouldn't? Wouldn't that be disheartening?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I can't stand either one of your voices.
That's fair.
And to which I would say, fair enough. All right, sure, yeah. Look, I get a little tired of me too. But if you do enjoy the sound of our voices and our opinions on pop culture, you can head over to our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/punchup. That's PunchUp Get cool exclusive bonus content as well as help out all the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network. We do love our patrons.
Yeah, we also love those people who find us over on YouTube. That's youtube.com/@punchupentertainment. There you can watch this show, watch it with your eyeballs, like some kind of fish man looking through a screen.
If you want to see what these fish people look like, come on over and join us on YouTube.
Yeah, and you can read the comic along with us while you're there. You can find all of the shows on the Punch Up Entertainment Network, including some stuff that's exclusive to YouTube, like Punch Up Plays, where Elliot and I is working through the Mass Effect franchise. You can, while you're there, please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know in the comments below. If you had to pick a single biome Star Wars world to just hang out on, which would you choose? Because me, I'm thinking lush verdant jungle planet, a la Yavin 4.
I mean, God knows the comic let us know how lush and green that planet was.
I love a lush green planet. What can I say?
Fair enough, fair enough.
But I think that is going to do it for us this week. As always, I have been Mike Gargoni.
I'm John Campbell.
And remember, may the panel be with you.